Hello, mi gente. Bienvenidos. Welcome to another episode of Hoy en Día TV. And as per usual, we have another amazing episode. Yes. And we have two dope guests in the building. Not saying that all of our guests are not dope because you are dope, but we have additional dope guests. So that's what I'm trying to say. But nevertheless, I have my co host with me, Manny Morales. Welcome to the stage, Manny.
Bendiciones, bendiciones, mi gente, ¿cómo estamos? ¿Cómo estamos? How's everybody doing out there?
Hey,
Good, I hope.
I am great, and I really hope that the audience and viewers and listeners are doing great as well. ¿Cómo tú estás?
Yes. Bien, cansado, pero tú sabes cómo está la vida.
I know,
Duro.
right? La vida, el tiempo pasa, keeps going and going and going. It's like, woo!
There's
We
not
should
enough
kind of
time
breathe.
today. They need to they make all these laws and change everything every once in a while. They need to change time. Like give us more than 24 hours because it's not enough time in the day. I'm just saying.
I
It's
agree.
not.
I agree.
Like give me at least 30. Give me another 5, 6 hours.
You know what's
I'm like,
crazy? The other day I was reminiscing. When I was a kid, we used to be at home bored, looking out the window, like, man,
right.
summer go really slow, and then everything was like slow. And now, as soon as you become an adult, everything.
I spent a lot of time watching TV. I think that's why I don't watch TV now. Like
Me
I
too.
barely watch it. The only time I sit down to watch something is when I eat, and then it's like I don't eat much, so it's like I'll turn whatever movie on, and then I'll eat, and then I'll turn it back off. So I've watched like 30 minutes, and that's it. And that's how it
I got you.
goes. Like every 30 minutes, I'll turn it back on. So I watch movies in increments. I don't watch them all the way through.
Now, with me, if there's like a good series where it was written well, the actors are on point, everything's executed, then I'll definitely sit there and pay my respects because, being a fellow actor, when you see good
Right.
quality, I pay them respects. But if the movie sucks, if the acting sucks, I'm like, get out. Let me
Right.
quickly change it. Quickly, right? Um, and so I remember growing up too. I was a gamer, and I'm still a gamer now. Believe it or not, I know, right? It's like, just see a gamer.
Yeah, that's weird. Every
When I
time you
have
say that,
time,
I'm like, no,
fellas.
I can't see it. I can't see it.
I mean, when I have time, let me say that because my time is very limited. I think that's the way for me to decompress is,
Right,
getting on the division, becoming that agent on the television, going to rescue the good people and shooting the bad people on the game, and then the cold Call of Duties and all that. Oh yeah, that's
right.
me for sure.
Yeah, I have an Xbox. I don't even play it. It's like collecting dust. I,
Oh
I
come
don't have
on!
time. I used to be a gamer when I was a kid, but like I had to grow up fast and I had to get a job, so it
Yeah.
was like provide for my mom. She was single mom, so I was like I had to help her. So, I had to find a job and I didn't have time to play video games. I had to grow up. So,
No, I feel you. I respect that for sure. And since we're talking about television, our guests, we have two special guests today that were on season 4 of
right.
American Idol. They were on
I'm excited.
television.
I'm excited. Like, I've never met anybody in real life. Well, I still haven't met them in real life because it's virtual, but I've never interviewed or talked to anybody from American Idol. This is exciting. This is really
Oh, I'm
exciting.
definitely excited.
Yeah.
And you know what? One of our guests, Scott Savol, I actually work with him currently. Where he's on tour with me as well with the
Right.
National Alzheimer's Association and G. Davis TV and Films with
Right.
the play Unforgettable. So
Say
he
that
and
five
he plays my brother on stage, but in real life I call him my brother too.
Right.
He's really dope. He's really cool. I had a chance to meet Nico in person. He's really dope and really cool,
Okay.
and that's why I'm. This is really dope. So without further ado, Manny, let's bring them on. Let's see what they got to
Okay.
say. We're gonna bring Nico and Scott.
Well,
Welcome to the
what's going
stage.
on, fellas?
What up? What
How's it
up?
going?
Dragon.
Oh, he got that baritone voice. Look at that. Look at that.
Can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear
Booming
me?
it. Yeah,
Yeah,
we
we
can
hear
hear
you.
you, bro.
All right.
Sing it to us.
That's,
Straight up.
ask Nico for that.
How y'all feeling, man?
I'm
All
good,
good.
man. I'm good. I'm happy to be here with y'all. I'm glad to see my dude again, man. We ain't seen
What
each other
up?
for years, but when we saw each other, it was like the last time was yesterday, man.
Right,
So
right.
that's a
Mhm.
blessing.
That's
That
a good
is a
friend right there.
blessing.
Yeah.
Yes. And so for the guests, listeners, and viewers, please reintroduce yourself. So, Nikko Smith, tell us who you are, what you do, and then we'll go with Scott, who you are and what you do.
Well, hello. What's up, world? Thank you guys for having me on here. Yeah, Nikko Smith, singer, songwriter, entertainer, actor, a little bit of everything, as they say out there in the industry. From St. Louis, Missouri, as you can see. Scott and I were on season 4 of American Idol. For those of you that remember or don't remember, it was the season that Carrie Underwood won. So yeah, just since then been writing, singing, performing, traveling, just being able to do what I love and make money doing it. So yeah.
Right. Well, welcome to Hoy en Día.
Yes.
Scott, tell us who
What
you
up?
are and what you do.
Scott Savol, like Nico said, we was on American Idol season 4 together. Like you said, the year Carrie Underwood won, and like he said, man, I'm same with me, just working on music, recording, acting, traveling, little day job to help supplement, the money, because nowadays you need that, you know what I mean? But
you mean like
just
5
still
jobs.
being able to do what you love to do, and just get to travel to do it, and still being afforded the opportunities too, man. It's always a blessing, always a blessing.
That's amazing. And so, Nikko, I'm going to start with you. At what age did you discover this purpose, this amazing voice that you have?
Well, like a lot of people, my mom had me singing in church ever since I was little. But I was really into, I guess I was into music initially too. It was just anything entertainment wise. So I used to watch Moonwalker, the Michael Jackson movie, and Purple Rain, all the time. All the time, back to back to back to back to back. Moonwalker. So it was always Prince and Michael Jackson. And then on the other side of it, it was Bruce Lee. So I was really, really, really into martial arts and stuff too. So it got to a point, I think, where I turned 14, and I had been doing martial arts for a long time, and I was in tournaments and all of this stuff. But I joined this group here in St. Louis. It was called Team 11, and it was basically y'all remember the Mickey Mouse Club?
Right.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So, they used to get on there and sing different types of songs, and from country to hip hop to jazz to whatever. So we were a promotional group for this TV station here in St. Louis, Channel 11. So I think when I was 14, that's when I really started getting into singing and listening to, all the old school stuff and finding my passion for it.
Cool.
That's awesome. Okay. Oh, how about you, Scott?
Man, I'm not trying to keep repeating what Nico said, but it kind of started the same way. When I was younger, in my single digit years, I was doing a lot of singing in church with my aunt, doing little, whether it be baptisms or, stuff like that for younger members of the family. And just getting older, I kind of started to, pay more attention to, like he said, more, my growing up at that time, my father still was, listening to the Motown and, stuff like that, or even the older Phil Collins stuff from back in the day, Hall & Oates, even into some of the rock and roll type stuff, man. So it a lot of stuff helped mold me into what I do today, man. I love soul music, and it wasn't until I was on American Idol that somebody schooled me to exactly what soul music was, and it had nothing to do with straight R&B. Deborah Bird, she told me soul music is anything that moves somebody on the inside.
Right.
Whether it's R&B or rock, you know what I'm saying, or jazz, So yeah, man, I just love music that moves people, man. It's universal,
Yeah, absolutely.
Speaking of American Idol, what for the viewers out there that because what we try to do is try to positively enlighten our viewers. Some people might have the voice that y'all have and want to be a part of something like that, but they have that insecurity or they don't feel like they can do it. What was it that made y'all say, you know what, I'm gonna do this no matter what?
Sponsored by
Author Manny Morales.
Good question.
How was Scott?
I think for me it was just the love of singing, you know, and just knowing that I had a gift that was worth the time of going through all the obstacles that we had to go through, you know, to make it to the show, you know, and I felt like I was just as well as anybody. You know, I think that season, over 100,000 people auditioned that year.
Oh wow!
And you know, for us to make it to the point where we was top 10, you know,
wow.
it was like
Congratulations.
it. And if Nico's like me, man, he saw a lot of people, you know, where he auditioned that made him say with that when they didn't make it, he was like, "What?" It
Right.
was a lot of good talent that year, man. And it's like it's not that it's I think it all went to it's reality scripted TV. So they kind of knew from the previous 2 or 3 seasons what they wanted. So they kind of handpicked them, you know, and it's not to say that people who didn't make it to the show weren't phenomenal, because they were, man. It was
It's just
yeah.
All right. What about you, Nico? What gave you that drive, that push to say, you know what, I'm gonna audition?
Well, I wasn't going to. My mom made me.
Oh, wow. Okay.
My mom made me do it. Yeah. At the time, I was dating this girl, really good singer. And the auditions were coming to St. Louis, so she was like, "I'm gonna go down there and audition." I was like, "All right, cool. I'll go down with you. I'm not gonna audition. I'll go down." You know, the first night, y'all heard the stories, like you got to sleep on the street and it's like a line wrapped around them. I know what I'm talking about.
Right.
So, you know, I the night before I went out and I got this tent. So we camped out for a little bit, like on this lawn across from the stadium, and yeah, all of a sudden people started running over there to get in line, and I was like, all right. So we stood in line all night, and I wasn't gonna audition, and I talked to my mom, and she was like, well, you're there, so yeah, you better go in and
Right.
do it. It's like, all right. So like Scott was saying, it was so many dope, like talented, crazy vocal geniuses there. And not to say that, you know, I thought I was like, you know, just all right. I mean, I thought I was pretty good, but it was a lot of good people there. And the whole process that they have you go through, like you see these people get up there and sing their hearts out. And then they say, you're good, but you're not what we're looking for.
Right.
Wow.
They have an idea of the cast that they're looking for at the beginning of the show. So, you know, getting past them first couple rounds, like I wasn't expecting anything, but yeah, and getting to be able to make it as far as we did was a blessing, you know.
Absolutely.
Like you said, all them people auditioned. It was some amazing people, and some of those people that auditioned are like big superstars now that never got to get on Idol, or they got cut in the first round.
Wow.
So yeah, it's definitely a process. It was interesting. But yeah, it's my mom's fault that I
it's my mom's fault.
So what about the girl? Did she make it?
No.
She got cut in the first round, and that's why I feel bad.
That's why y'all ain't together no more.
You ain't fight for her, man. You ain't fight for her.
You made it. You don't even trying to go down there.
What can you do?
Right.
And so to refresh everybody's brains regarding the songs that you all sang, what did y'all pick to sing, and how did you feel being up in front of those judges through the preliminary process auditioning? Scott, you can go first if you want.
I don't know. For me, I'll be honest. The first 3 weeks, which to be honest, those weren't live as far as how we went through recording them and whatnot. They was actually recorded the night before the show, and then I think I believe, Nico, if I'm wrong, was the results show was live though, right?
Honestly, I can't remember.
Yeah, it's been a minute, but the first
been
3
so long.
weeks.
Yeah, but I think definitely the results were live. Yeah.
Yeah, we was top 24 coming all the way down to the top 12, and it was pre-recorded. But
see, but you got to go back before that. You got to go back before that and tell them like all about like
in the
the
beginning.
Hollywood rounds.
Oh, you want okay, yeah. Like
the
that
very
was
beginning. Yep.
So we're talking about the first song I ever auditioned with at the stadium. My first song that I ever auditioned with the Superstar, the remake that Luther Vandross did. A lot of people don't know this, but I didn't know the words to the song that day that I recorded it. My dude, who a lot of people thought was my stepdad on the video, that was just one of my boys. He was just, he just had the gray coming in, and but no, we were sitting there, and I knew the hook, but he was teaching me the verse to sing, and I don't know if they did it the same way in St. Louis, but at the Brown Stadium, like Nico said, I'm repping Cleveland.
I see.
They in the stadium they had like 11 tables set up across the back of the end zone, so they bring 3 people to the table at a time.
Mm-hmm.
You sing, you sing, you sing, and when we done, we're gonna tell you yay or nay. Right. So so the one girl sang, and the next girl sang, and then he had me sing last. So it was Joe Willis, and he I told him, I said, I'm about to sing Superstar by Luther. He looked at me like I was high, like, okay, sing this so we can cut y'all and we can move on to the next. Right. And then I started singing, and the tables on the sides stopped to listen. So I'm singing, and he looking at me like, this dude just checked me just by singing. So he was like, y'all two, the females, he's like, y'all going home, appreciate your time. He's like, you head up to the clubhouse, gave me the paperwork, and that song never changed for me throughout the whole process until we got to Hollywood. I used that for all 3 stages of the preliminary auditions. And I think the toughest one, I would say, for me at that time, not having a lot of exposure as far as live singing outside of church, was the one with Simon, Paul, and Randy. Because it's like, okay, the other people you sang in front of was like production staff from the show. If you make it through them, then you get to go see the 3 big judges. And that season in Cleveland, LL Cool J was the guest judge. So we did the audition. We went through the whole thing, and again, anybody could. You guys can find all these videos on YouTube if everyone wants to refresh their memory. But I go up and I'm talking, and Simon's kind of like giving me the business, like, bro, this ain't for you. Just based on my appearance. I'm cool. I don't care. I'm from Cleveland. You can't face me like that, bro. You can't face me like that. So he asked me what made me think I was American Idol, blah, 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 named it all off. And then he's like, well, I'll give you 3 out of 4, whatever. And so I sang, and it was the shock factor, with the judges. It's like, for them to see me and what I looked like at the time, and the voice that came out, it was just like real shocking. I got yeses across the board. Well, I don't know if I still to this day don't know if Simon gave me a yes or not, because all 3 gave me a yes before him. So it was like, it didn't matter.
Right.
I got my yeses that went through it. It just, I think from that point, and I'll let Nico tell his initial, because I think we can probably kind of back and forth on like the Hollywood weeks and stuff. So,
yeah, my the audition process was just like he said. Like you go into the stadium or whatever, and they have like 4 big tables, and they have you come up 3 at a time, and you hit. And they say, okay, you good, you good, you good. We're just gonna keep you. Thank you, other 2, for coming in. Blah blah blah. Or they'd send all 3 of the people home and just keep it rolling. So my song, I think I did the same thing Scott did as far as like keeping the same song. I did All I Do by Stevie Wonder. So I don't, how many rounds was it before you got to see Paula, Randy, and Simon? Was it like 3? Because you do the first one.
I think it was 2. I think they were the third.
Okay. Because I know right before I saw the state.
Yeah.
Right before I saw Randy, Paul, and Simon, I had to see the producers of the show, Nigel and was it Simon?
And Simon, yep.
So we and not to repeat like what you said, but hey, y'all had LL Cool J at y'all's?
Yeah.
I ain't getting no. I just had Paula, Randy, and Simon. That's it.
Probably because it was so close to New York, they probably flew them in real quick.
Okay. Yeah, but after I sang the song, I got a yes from Randy. I got a yes from Paula. I still to this day, I don't know what Simon said it. I don't know what he said, but I guess
to the same thing.
Yeah,
I think it's because he be the last person, so he just give his 2 cents and don't really. I guess unless if it's tied, then he had to jump in and do the tiebreaker. But if it's 3 people and the other 2 say yes, it don't matter what he says. So he probably just like, here it is.
Yeah. So after that audition and after you get your golden ticket, it's did they have you, Scott? Did they have you like run around or something, or like bring your ticket out and say something crazy after you got the ticket? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's when I realized, like, oh, this is a TV show.
All right.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Because we definitely
like, I had to watch. Right, now you're gonna run around here and then say something like, I'm like, what?
Right.
All right. Yeah. So
It was. You had to run around.
So for here in St. Louis, after I got my ticket, I was like, all right, cool. I'm gonna go home and chill out until we got to do the next thing. They're like, no, we're gonna go outside. There was a fountain like outside of the building that we were in, and she was like, run around the fountain and then be like, I got a golden ticket. And I'm like, wow,
right.
Very stage type of
TV show.
They needed to make it look like reality.
Yeah.
That makes sense. So when y'all got that initial yes, you're going to Hollywood, how did you feel? What did you think? And then now this is an epiphany for you to say, wow, I'm be away from my family for a long time. How did you feel?
Go ahead, Nick. I'll let you go.
I mean, I still like I didn't want to take anything for granted, but also I didn't want to like suit myself up either. So I was like, this could end at any moment in time. Like, I don't know if this has been a fluke up until now, because again, I was seeing a whole bunch of people that were amazing singers.
Yeah, absolutely.
So on one hand, you're saying, okay, I made it this far, off of my talent. But then also at the same time, you're thinking, well, what else did they see in me? And why am I actually here? Like, what do they want out of me? So going to the Hollywood rounds, I related to like going off to college, but it's an entertainment college, and you have all of these different personalities, and everybody wants to be on camera, and everybody's like,
right,
I'm a star, like moving everybody out of the way. It was a lot for me. So my first days in Hollywood, I called my mom and I was like, I don't want to do this. I hate it here. But she was like, yeah, I understand that, but just stick it out for a couple days. If you leave now, you'll never forgive yourself. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna stay one more day, but I'm telling you, I'm coming home.
Right.
It was overwhelming. Like, I don't know, Scott, I don't know if it was like that for you, but it was just so many different personalities, and I've never been the type of person that's like trying to be like all in the camera and like, look at me type of person. And not that everybody was like that, but you had a lot of people like that. And it was irritating. So for me, it was just, I just faded to the back. I was like, all right, when do we sing?
Right.
Let's just get to the singing part of it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's respectful. I appreciate that feedback, definitely. Thanks for sharing that. How about you, Scott?
I think for me, that was my first flight that I ever took, was flying from Cleveland to LA. Like Tupac said, from Cleveland to LA. And getting there, like you see so much stuff on TV, you know what I'm saying? So you kind of prepared for, stuff. But then when you really get to LA and you see this stuff like in person, it's like a culture shock. Because like he said, like I'll be honest, man, it was a point at the beginning for me too. And I mean, I hate that this all sounds repetitive between us, but we went through the same experience, and it was like, I was like, this crazy. I remember talking to like my brother and like, bro, this is wild out here, bro. Like I want to stay in the hotel. Like I want to, like when we not doing what we doing, I just want to be at the hotel. I don't want to go outside. Like this, it was really like he said, it was some characters out there, and then with the whole reality TV, I guess I'll segue into this because, every season before that, there was like, there's always somebody who's just, a butthead, who's just like arrogant, just like stands out, like thinks they this, that, and the other. I'm like, that's crazy, man. Like, I didn't really see too many people like that while we were mingling with some of the contestants up front, and lo and behold, long story short, I wound up being that person that season. And it was like, but this just goes to show you the scripted reality aspect of the show, because like Nikko will tell you, there's so much stuff that went on that obviously the cameras didn't show, but that wouldn't have made for exciting TV. It would have just been literal reality. Like they had it to where they made it look like I was like, I don't need to rehearse. I got this. Y'all get y'all stuff together. Then when we go do what we got to do, we'll be all right. Which wasn't even the case. Like they made it look like, oh, Scott just ain't trying to show up to rehearsal. But they ain't tell you that Scott Bus got back to the hotel 2 hours after the other guys did.
Wow.
They ain't say all that. Or they didn't say, Scott had to go get ready. These other cats was already back at the hotel. They got dressed, whatever. Because we was just rehearsing. There was nothing else for the night. We was just gonna rehearse for the next day.
All right.
So they don't show all that. They just try to make you look like the arrogant, stuck up, whatever you want to say. But I was like, that just again, like he said, oh, this reality TV. Okay, I get it. That's what their reality is. It's like show what we want to be real. We gotta get ratings. So we don't care who you really are. We want to make you who we need you to be.
All right.
Wow.
I'm like, okay. I mean, I made it to the top 10, so I'm cool.
Okay. And I'm glad to share that, Scott. And the fact that you mentioned earlier, although you and Nikko have similar perspectives in your experience, I like that you're sharing that, simply because the goal, as Manny mentioned, for Hoy en Dia TV is to positively motivate, enlighten, educate, and entertain the audience.
Absolutely.
And also show the relatability, because Nikko mentioned earlier, he was looking around, he's like, wow, is this a fluke? There was some sort of doubt, right? And it's so, because you're in this big competition, you're hearing all these amazing voices. It's like, wow, I'm here. I'm amongst that voice. People are going to have that doubt. And that's something that I want the audience and the listeners and the viewers to capture, is you're going to have that doubt, and it's okay, but keep pushing.
Oh, yeah.
These two individuals kept pushing. As you can see, the relatability in their perspectives, it's okay. Because if you're feeling that same way, whether you do anything in life, there's going to be people that are going to feel the same way you do. But guess what? You have to brush it off and keep it going.
Absolutely.
Pushing.
Sponsored by Divine Beauty and Accessories.
That's one of the things I used to tell people, like after our season, when people would go up and audition, and really good singers and they'd be so crushed that they didn't get picked. And I used to tell them, like, listen, it's not about you not being a good singer or you not having what it takes. You also have to remember that this is a TV show. Right, so like I said before, they're looking for certain specific characters. Images, and you can be the greatest. You could be the new Stevie Wonder. You could be the new, Stephen Perry.
Right.
And you just might not fit the mold for that specific thing that they're looking for. So that doesn't mean that you can, or that you should feel down about, what you do, or just keep pushing. Like you said, just keep moving forward, keep going, and believe in yourself.
Absolutely. Manny, you look like you have a question. Before I ask my question, I'm gonna let you ask yours. I don't want to hog up all the questions.
Right. I know it's been burning in your mind. I see the smoke.
Oh no, you know me. When I get into the moment, I'm like. So, Scott, earlier you mentioned the whole scripted process and them making you look a certain way. How did you feel about that? And Nikko, I don't know if you experienced something similar where they made you feel look a certain way. How did you both feel about that?
I mean, for me, it was, when I actually got the chance to sit down and look back at it, it was funny to me because it's like I know me, people who know me, and they was like, that there's no way that was, how it went down. Even Nikko, now knowing each other, just almost 20 years that we had, Nikko probably was like, man, whatever. That was all just some rating stuff, you know what I mean? And it was, to me, it didn't bother me because, the fact that the opportunity was there, and I think, Nikko would echo this the same, that we did what we needed to do to capitalize on that opportunity, to the best of our ability, and to get us as far as we did, and it was just, I guess it was just something about us and that specific group that made it to where they made it, that it was like out of the 100,000, them 10 just cut out of the crowd for some reason. Just it was just something about, because like season 1 they had the pop rock winner, Kelly Clarkson. Then for 2 seasons, 2 and 3, they had R&B singers. So we knew an R&B singer wasn't gonna win. But guess what? You ain't gonna cut me out too quick.
Right.
I'm gonna do my thing. So it was like no matter what, at the end of the day, we knew that whether you made it to the top 3, top 5, top 10, it's an open door. Like Nikko said, we still get the opportunity today, many years later, to still share the gift that show introduced to the world, and now we get to continue to do it. I'm pretty sure, like him, there's moments where it's up, then there's moments where it comes down, and there's moments where it's up. So it's like, it's like when you take the good with the bad. So sometimes we're busy, sometimes we're not, but at the end of the day, it's proven that it's still there's still a want and a desire for people to want to experience that, experience what they saw on TV, live in person, and we get to do that. We get to do that for people every week.
That's amazing. How about you, Nikko?
Well, one, both Scott and I you were Taurus too, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Taurus gang. So yeah, how we get. So I know it was times where I'd see on the show, like some of the producers or some of our other handlers would suggest some of us do certain songs, like, oh, you should do this song, blah blah blah. And I was always like, I'm doing what I want to do, because if I get kicked off, I'm gonna get kicked off doing something that I wanted to do.
Right.
Exactly.
I'm not gonna be at home like, dang, I should have did what I said I was gonna do. Nope. If I get kicked off, which I did twice, and I'm sure we'll get there.
You get kicked off twice.
Yeah.
Long story, man.
So
we gotta hear that for sure.
Yeah, it was always a thing of like once you like picking back up on what I was saying earlier, as far as accepting where you are, the fact that you got there. At that point in time, you have to trust yourself, right? Because you have all these other opinions coming in telling you what you should do, what you should look like, what you should sound like, how you should do this and how you should move and blah, blah, blah. My thing was, okay, I'm going to, zone all of that stuff out and just focus on what I feel like I need to do for me. And at the end of the day, when it came down to it, I'm happy with every single choice that I made while I was on the show. But I think that's also one of the things, because I know Scott was the same way, and he was, you know what I'm saying, like you can't tell Scott what to do, not in a bad way, like he's gonna be like, butt about it, but you're a grown man, and I felt like he felt the same way, and he got to where he was because of him trusting himself, and so getting to that point at the end of the day, I think that's part of the reason too that some of the people on the show might have said that we were difficult to work with, or we didn't listen, or we didn't do this because we wouldn't, buckle under pressure and do what they wanted us to do. But I saw a couple times they suggested for some songs for some people to do, and the next week they got cut.
Yep.
Wow.
Gone.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And so that's amazing that you share that experience about having your self-belief, believing in yourself, and not always trusting what others tell you. Although it may be coming from a good place, it's always good to trust your gut instinct. What do you want?
Yeah.
And that's what you did. And look, you got far in the competition.
Exactly.
That's good food for thought.
So don't nobody know me better than me.
Exactly.
And I Nikko, I'm just gonna let you tell the story, bro. tell the story. I'll be honest, like just real talk, and I have my opinions on how certain things wound up in that competition, but I feel like Nikko should have got to the place he was at initially without a double.
So we gotta tell him what happened.
Well, of course
well, I mean, you know what I mean.
Yeah. So we can't be too specific, but yeah. So I want to hear
it. We got up to, what was it, the top 24, right?
Yeah.
And we were breaking it down week by week to get to the top 12. So fast forward, we're making it through, and we get down to the last the finals before you get to the top 12, and you're cutting everybody. So, and you might be able to remember this better than me, Scott, but I think it came down to, was it the three of us, me, you, and Travis?
I think it was me, you, and Travis. Yep.
So speaking on what I was just talking about, when the judges or somebody would suggest a song for somebody to do, Travis, he did All Night Long by Lionel Richie. And to this day, I can't stand that song. But I had asked him, I said, why are you doing Lionel Richie? He said, well, they suggested that I do it. I was like, do you want to do that? He's like, no, really, but I don't really care. I said, all right. So he did the song. I ended up doing Georgia on My Mind because the movie Ray had just came out with Jamie Foxx. So I was like, I thought it was going to be like a good idea, strategy, right? So anyway, fast forward, we get to like the last bottom three before you get to the top 12. So it's me, Scott, Travis. First, they read the card. Travis, you got cut. And then it was down to me and you, right, Scott?
Yeah.
So at this point, I don't know what Scott was thinking, but me, I was like, I didn't think I was going to make it this far. So if I get sent home tonight, cool. And like Scott was saying earlier, like that opportunity that you have to be on TV after you get cut and you go home, it's up to you to take that experience and that exposure that you got and carry it forward. So came down to it. Boom, person that is going to be in the top 12, Scott Savol. And I was like, all right, he definitely deserved to be in the top, you know what I'm saying, the top 12. So I was like, all right, cool. And I was like, all right, now what am I going to do? I'm going to go home and, you know, keep it pushing. So I go home and was it like a day later?
It was quick.
It was super quick. So I get a call. Mind you, I'm at home and I hadn't seen my family, like you were saying, in a long time. So we're kicking it. You know what I mean? We kicking it. So my phone rings at like 3:00 in the morning. And it's some dude on the other line. He's like, yeah, this is so-and-so from American Idol. How would you feel about coming back? Like, who is this?
Right.
I was one of my friends playing on my phone. So I'm like, man, it's not funny. He's like, no, seriously. How would you feel about coming back? I was like,
wow.
All right. And, you know, like I said, we had been kicking it, so I'm not all there. I was like, yeah, you know, like come back in a week or something? He's like, no, we need you on a flight in 3 hours.
Wow.
What? So fast forward, you know, I get my stuff together, I fly back, and there was an incident that had happened with one of the other contestants who was a favorite. He was a favorite. Like Simon loved him. So he had some family stuff he was dealing with, so he had to leave. So since I was the last person to get cut before it was 12, I got to come back.
Wow.
So, you know, and I think after that, and this is what made my experience a little different than everybody else's, was that, and Scott can probably attest to this, is that when you're there, and they were there like the whole time, I got to go home, see my people, and then come back. So I got to escape that bubble, and really soak in everything that had happened. And then when I came back, my attitude was, man, this is a blessing that not only I got to get up to the top 24, but now I got to come back and be in the top 12, and be in front of all of these people doing what I love to do. And after that, I didn't feel any pressure. I didn't feel any anxiety. Like it was just all gone. And you know, most of everybody on the show, especially Scott, my buddy Bo Bice, you know, everybody was super cool. So it was just a crazy experience to get cut and then be able to come back with a different mindset.
Wow.
How long was it when you got cut to when you came back?
Like 2 days.
Yeah,
I mean, because I got cut, and then I think I got home. Because after you get cut, they make you do a press run thing, right? So we did all these like TV shows and stuff like that. I was super tired. I came back home. My family threw a party that night.
Well, that was the first. I think once we got to the top 12, did you do that the first time you went home? That whole press thing?
Yeah, because I remember me and Travis had to wake up at the crack of dawn, and of course I overslept.
Right.
I had to wake up at the crack of dawn and do like all these morning news shows from across the country. So yeah, it was
that's the work.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Wow. So that shows you that was your God really wanted you there, because you got the opportunity, you got cut, and you got called back right away, that you were meant to be there.
All right.
Yeah.
And that's how I feel like for everybody that was there, like our season was like super special, because they flipped up the strategy and how they approached the show, I think, for our season. And we were kind of in between. You know how like after our season, Scott, like they bring on like mentors.
Yep.
That made me
Yep.
mad. I was like, we couldn't get Clive Davis to come down and
Right.
mentor us for the season, but it was
Right.
it was definitely a blessing, and believing in God, that's nothing other than God. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So at that point, I was like, well, I guess I'm supposed to be here. Let's just keep it going.
Let's
That's
go.
right. That's amazing. That is a really dope story.
So
That is
when
a
y'all
dope.
got home, like we'll start with Scott. Like when y'all got home, what did y'all come home? Like did the city do anything for you? Like what, when y'all got cut, even though y'all made it to the top 10, like did the the city do anything? Like what, or did y'all just go home and kick it with your family?
Well, here's the funny thing for me. Like when I came home, um, they were gonna the city of Cleveland was gonna make whatever day that was, like, Scott Sable Day, or they was gonna give me the key to the city or whatever. But the
Ah,
mayor, was like, he don't live in Cleveland. We're not doing that for him.
What?
I mean, never mind that I was born
All right.
in the area code of Cleveland, in the zip code of Cleveland. Now that I live in the suburb, y'all don't want to claim me, and that's cool. I ain't
Wow.
tripping. But it was I think for me, and even when you went home, bro, it was like the time went so fast, because it was like we had to come back out to LA for the finale, because we all did the finale. So it was like you go home, and even the week or two that you have with your family, it's like it's gone in a breath. You know what I'm saying? Because like you have to go back out to LA. We had to do the finale where me and Nico got to do on Broadway with George Benson.
Yes, indeed.
And me and Nico was the only ones who remember the words to that song. But but just that quick 2 or 3 weeks was like it kind of refreshed you. But then now here we go. We got to go out to LA. We got to prep for the finale, and then we flew to North Carolina to do the indie race, whichever one it was out there, because we did the national anthem.
About that.
And that was one of the funniest flights I ever took, because it was a few people that was with us in the top 10 who was just like terrified of flying. And the one girl had a few drinks to kind of take the edge off, and she fell asleep. And then we hit a super huge air pocket in the sky, and she jumped up out of her chair. That was the funniest thing ever in my life. I'm like, she jumped in like the plane was going down. But now back to the question, it was like, it was good to see, because at that time my son was only 3 years old.
Oh, okay.
So I got to, well, no, at that time he was 4 by then. But still being so young, and being able to get home and have a few weeks to see him. But again, like, we was whisked away to go out to LA to do the finale, and like I said, the indie thing. And even after that, what did we have, like a week, or even if that, to go home to get ready to go out to Florida to start rehearsing for back to LA to start rehearsing for the tour. A week or two out there, then we had to go to Florida, Sunrise, Florida, for a week to rehearse there, and then to kick off the tour. So even though it was a long process from, we'll just say, what, January of 2005, all the way to when the tour started in, like, I think June, it legit was maybe 2 or 3 weeks of family in that whole time. It was quick. Like, we get home, and now you're already, while you spending time with your family, you kind of peeking in the room, packing the bag, because you about to get ready to leave again.
Wow.
I'm glad you shared that, Scott, because I'm just curious to know, for those that it's similar to shows that offer reality based, and you have to go far for a while. Did you all get compensated salary? Like, how did y'all deal with the day to day? Because one day you just pick up, and then there's family, there's bills, there's this and that left behind. How did y'all manage that?
We we got paid for the shows on TV. It
Very good.
was, wasn't super money, but I think for if you break it down into how much time we spent
Mhm.
doing what we had to do for it, it was enough compensation to where I think, I was able to take care of stuff at home, and
Yes.
likewise for the tour, it was, it I think for me, I don't know how Nico's experience was with this, but it was a lot of like freebies when it came to being on the show, like different.
Yes.
I swear, you know, I swear I think I took home like $10,000 worth of free clothes
Oh wow.
from like Echo, Fat Farm, Robert Graham, like all these different designers. Like they bring you all these clothes. Like, here, man, here's like 10 shirts and 10 pairs of pants. All you gotta do is wear one of them on the show, and you keep all of them. Say less. I'm about to do it.
Yeah,
So it was like
to
it
go
was
home, man.
even though money, is what you use to pay your bills, it's still other stuff that was beneficial, and
Right.
just, I won't say beneficial, I'll say a blessing,
Right.
that we were able to get other stuff. There go my mama.
Hey, mama.
Hey, mama.
I'm going to bed, but I love the TV. Okay. Good night. So it was outside of just the financial blessing. It was other stuff that was just like given to us just because people, I guess people understood the influence that we had
Mhm.
in those 5-10 minutes on TV. People are gonna see me wearing a Echo jacket and like, oh, that's dope. There go sales. So they good. So they not worried about me paying them, because they about to make it, time over. So, outside of even though it was, like you said, compensated, it still, even over top of that, was a lot more stuff that was like a blessing, that was like, I don't know, man, just the benefit of being in that position, and it almost lets you know that even outside of just the actual musical part of it,
Right.
people appreciated what you could bring, even as far as style, and then Nico with his, dancing self, they was lacing him up like, we gonna put you in some stuff, and we gonna we gonna make sure Justin Timberlake wanna wear what you dancing in.
Sponsored by Collective Wear.
They used to give us, they would give us like a per diem or whatever for clothes to go get for
Okay.
every show. And we'd also get paid as cast members on the show as well. So what I did was, with my money that they gave me for the per diem to go get clothes, I was like, I already got some jeans, I already got some sneakers. I had my people from St. Louis sending me stuff. So I was like, I'm just gonna keep the money. And like I went and got like 3 jackets made. And it was this dope artist in LA. And he like spray painted all of my jackets. So I think it was like after I got kicked off the first time and I came back, the first show I did, I had this nice jacket on that I had found on like Melrose or something. And they were trying to get us to go out and buy like all this extravagant, like the girl, you remember Nadia used to come in them big flowing dresses, and
Yep.
how much did y'all spend on that? I was buying t-shirts and forces.
Right.
Yeah, I mean the main thing was like, I didn't know how long it was gonna last.
Right.
And after you get to the top 12, only the top 10 get to go on tour.
Right.
I came back, my goal was like, I'm just trying to get to the top 10, trying to get to the top 10, trying to get to the top 10. So once I did that, I was like, all right, cool.
Right.
And once we got to go on tour, which our tour, well, the tour before us, the season before us, I think they had to cut some of their dates because there wasn't enough interest in it. So when they booked our tour, they didn't book a whole bunch of dates like they usually do. But ours got so popular that they had to add on like more cities.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we got to extend our tour and like go to a whole bunch of different places. And I think we did like New York twice. And
Yep.
it was a really, really, really good time.
It was.
That's dope.
Wow, that's awesome. And so now, fast forwarding to life after American Idol, what are y'all up to now? What are you doing? What are you getting into nowadays? Where can people find you? Scott or Nico, whoever wants to go first.
Go ahead, bro.
Oh, all right. Well, post Idol, I've been doing a lot of stuff. Of course, recording my own music. You can find a lot of my stuff on, any of those platforms: Apple Music, Amazon Music, Spotify. Just going to Nikko Smith, Nikko Smith. A lot of stuff on there. I had moved. Let's see, back here to St. Louis, and then I moved back out to LA for like 7 years, and I was out there doing music and traveling and having a good time. And then, of course, like you said earlier, the pandemic hit.
COVID.
Shut down everything. So that gave me time and perspective to, figure out my next move, which I decided, I was out there in LA by myself, and I have a younger brother, a younger sister. My brother and his wife just had some kids. My parents are getting older. So I decided to move back to St. Louis. And when I moved back, I joined this band called the Dirty Mucks. And I'm one of the 2 lead singers. Shout out to Lottie London, Dee, Katie, all y'all.
Hi.
We do y'all came to the show, right?
Yeah, man. That was a dope show, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Yeah, good looking out. So yeah, we just been traveling, we've been writing. I just did a movie where I'm playing my dad. It's about a kid named John O'Leary back in the 80s. I think it was the 80s. He had like this horrible accident where he was like burned on like 90% of his body. So it's about, him overcoming that, recovering from that. He's based here in St. Louis. So yeah, my dad used to play baseball for the Cardinals.
Amazing.
And they used to bring John O'Leary to the clubhouse and hang out with him and talk to him. So anyway, long story short, I got to play my dad in the movie. So that's coming out.
Did you do the backflip?
I did not, because I'm past my prime on that. So no backflips. But I think that movie's supposed to be coming out this year sometime. I'm not sure. But
are you able to release the name or not yet?
I know it was called On Fire when we were doing it, but you know how they changed the titles of the movies and stuff like that. But if you Google it right now, it's still called On Fire. It's on IMDb, all that stuff.
Okay.
So, yeah. But other than that, just doing music, living life. We're about to travel. We've been to Vegas. We're about to go to Mexico. Then we got a cruise coming up pretty soon. So just staying busy. Being blessed, like it's again a blessing to be able to do this,
man.
Do what you love and be paid for it.
Right.
Yes, that's beautiful. Well, congratulations on all of that. That's amazing. Yes.
Yeah.
How about you, brother Scott?
Man, same thing. Just except for the movie. I'm doing the music. We touring with the play, and which seems like it's gonna be on the road for a while, which is a blessing.
Absolutely.
Doing music, I haven't traveled as much music wise, but I'm in the process of getting some things together so that can become another part of the journey again. So but yeah, and for me, that I think the thing that's taken so long, because I'm always telling people like music's coming, and I know some people are starting to be like, man, you full of it, man. But for me, the thing is, I'm doing everything on my own. Like I'm doing all the production, I'm doing all the writing, I'm doing all the post production. So for me, not being as well versed as people who do it specifically, there's not a lot of artists who do all of that in one.
Right.
So even if it means that I'm doing it just to hone myself so that I'm able to guide other people, I'm cool with that. 'Cause I'm definitely not a selfish person where I'm like, I gotta keep it off of me. I actually got a buddy of mine who his son just signed a distribution deal with Randy Jackson. So it's almost like a full circle type thing. And he said as soon as he get a meeting with him, he's definitely gonna get me on the phone. And but yeah, just it's never not gonna be a passion. It's never not gonna be something that we just feel the need to have to do. And I know people say, when you have to do something, it's harder than when you want to just do it. But when I say something we have to do, what I mean by that is like, it's like if we're not doing it, we feel like we're not breathing.
Right.
So it's like we have to do, so it's like just to have the ability to and have that God-given gift, that allows us to do it. Because like when we did the show, when we went to Nikko's show, it's like dude told me, the guitar guy was like, man, I ain't never played that song before, bro. But you know what? It's like no matter what it is, if it's supposed to be done, gotta make it be done right. And we did what we did. We got to number one, we got to witness an amazing show. And I'm not just saying that because that's my dude, but they had everything was polished, and just the fact that he was, gracious enough to, allow me to share the stage with him again, man. That was like it was old times, man. And it's too bad we don't have enough time to talk about the tours and stuff, but maybe we'll do that on another episode.
Oh yeah,
we got to do that on part 2 because it's a whole bunch of stuff we had to skip over.
We'll do part 2.
Yeah.
And I'm glad you brought that up, brother, because I was going to say Manny and I would love to have you on for part 2, which we always send that to all of our guests.
Yeah.
Too. Definitely, we want to have you all on for a part 2.
Anytime.
Absolutely.
And so for the viewers and audiences, today you listened, you witnessed, you viewed. These are great opportunities. I came to these 2 amazing individuals, and they took it and ran with it. They didn't just sit around. They didn't just wait for things to happen. They made things happen even after the show, right? And so for you, sitting at home watching, having self-doubts, don't have that self-doubt. I get it. We're human. We kind of feel that way sometimes, but it's okay. Rub it off and keep pushing. Push yourself to the limit. Push yourself to that area where you feel uncomfortable, because I guarantee you, once you become uncomfortable, you're going to see that success. You're going to see that things for the better. It's that old saying, you got to get comfortable with being uncomfortable, because if you're too comfortable and you don't see change, guess what? Change is not going to happen because you're too comfortable. Right? Be uncomfortable. And these 2 individuals today shared that. They stepped outside the elements. Nikko, he said he didn't want to go. He went ahead and did the audition. Scott said, I got this. But even through whatever obstacles they had, they still pushed themselves to the limit. They still pushed themselves. And even after the show, they're still pushing themselves to keep going. And so any last minute words that you want to share with the audience, both of y'all, we'll start with Nikko.
Just piggybacking off of what you said. There was a couple times in there, like if it wasn't for, the people around me supporting me, I don't know if I'd have had the strength to keep going or, keep pushing forward. But after you get that initial push, it's your responsibility. Like if this is something, what I used to say when I came back, when I got, after I got cut the first time, when I came back and I would see like, Carrie, especially, like she'd be super nervous, like right before like she'd go on, like she'd be super nervous. And I used to just tell everybody, like, listen, this is what we do. This is what we do. It's what you've been doing. You've been singing. You've been entertaining. So believe in that. Believe in yourself, and just have a good time with it. It's if it's in you. Like Scott was saying, like we live, we breathe this, and it doesn't matter if it's music, art, any job. If you're a pilot, if you're hosting a podcast, whatever. If that's your passion, go for it. Because not a lot of people, or some people, don't get the opportunity to do what they love to do. So just go for it, give it your all. That way, at the end of the day, you can say, hey, I put it all on the table, and that's where I'm going to leave it.
Right.
Absolutely. Thanks for sharing that. Scott, you're up.
Man, all I would tell people who are watching this is the only person that can tell you no is you. You know, there's so many doors that are waiting, you know, to be knocked on. You know, not every door is gonna be left closed. There's gonna be doors to open, but the the only time you don't make it is if you don't try. You know, if you don't try, then yeah, you got nobody to blame but yourself. But if you put yourself out there, you know, and 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 give your passion, you know, give everything that you have with what you do, with what you love to do, then there's gonna be no regrets, you know. And just like Nikko said, there's, you know, when we were on the show, even at home, but on the show too, you know. And I think about this really from the time where we were on tour. Like there was 10 people from the show that were on tour, 10 different, you know, personalities, but it was a few of us that still, we were a circle with each other, you know. And it was like, to have that support there, it was like we were able to put all the amazing stuff aside and just be the humans, you know what I'm saying, with people that we were on the same journey with, you know. And I think just for the people who are watching who may have desires and ambitions to do this, you know, I would just say the only thing that you'll ever regret is just not trying. If you don't try, then that's the only way that nothing will happen, is just if you don't try. If you put yourself out there and you're vulnerable, you know, you expose yourself to what you love, I mean, the sky's the limit.
That's awesome.
Awesome. Thank you for
Yeah.
sharing, both of you all. Manny, you are up. Last minute word.
Like I usually say, don't let fear of failure overcome the righteousness of success. These two gentlemen right here have been successful. They didn't let that fear of being in front of a lot of people singing, and they took their opportunity. They took that chance, and they were successful despite the fact that they didn't become, you know, the American Idol. They are still definitely successful. And these two guys right here are a testament to what happens after the show. Not as long as you tend your garden, to, you know, as a metaphor, as long as you continue to cultivate and push forward, you're going to be successful, no matter if, you know, you accomplish the goal that you set out to accomplish at first. That door wasn't for you. Just like Scott was saying, there's doors out there that's always going to be open. You just have to know which door to go through and which door is right for you. So
Right. Absolutely. Thank you for sharing that. And Scott, although you said the sky's the limit, I respect your saying, but I have a different saying. My saying is the sky is never the limit because the galaxies are endless. And I say that to say this.
Look.
Let me shut up then.
Yeah.
I hear that, and I respect that. But and I was sharing with Manny in another episode, me being analytical and really like looking into numbers and all that. I was on the plane one day, and I heard the pilot say, "Oh, we've reached, I think it was like 35,000 feet or 40,000 feet." And me being curious, as soon as I got off, I Googled. I was like, "How far is that from where we are in the ground to where we hit, quote unquote, what's called outer space, where we hit outer space?"
Yeah.
And there was actually a cap to that. There was a limit. It was like 100. I want to say it was like 300 and something thousand feet. It was a lot. But my mind was like, there's still a limit to that number. I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
The sky is the limit, and I respect that because people say that, right? But
Yeah.
with me, I was like, the sky is not the limit because the galaxies are endless.
True that.
And so I say that to say, for the viewer, the listener, the audience, you're going to have self-doubt, and that's okay. You're going to have those moments where you don't want to keep pushing, and that's okay. You're going to have people that are going to be naysaying. Trust your gut, like Nikko was saying. Believe in yourself, like Scott was saying. And also, you're going to have to do sacrifices. I mean, it is what it is. Something's going to have to sacrifice, whether it be your time, your money, because you have to invest in yourself too. These people invest in themselves. Just like putting on Hoy en Día TV. Manny and I invest our time, our energy, and resources. All of us, to be successful in anything that we do, we have to invest.
Right.
So if you want to do something different today, I encourage you to do that. You're going to have doubt, and that's okay, but keep pushing. Trust me, because you keep pushing and pushing and pushing. It may not happen tomorrow or the next day, but me being on this journey as an actor, I started at age 11, and I'm still on that journey. And all these individuals, whether it be Manny with his writing, Nikko and Scott, they started at an early age. They found that purpose, that passion, and they kept going. And it's going to take years and years and years, but that's okay. The goal is for you to keep pushing. Here at Hoy en Día TV, we aim to motivate you, enlighten you, inspire you. And my goal is to also entertain you, because I don't want y'all to be bored with us. So hopefully we did that today, just like with every episode. But you can follow me, Yessie Rodriguez, on social media. You can Google me, Yessie Rodriguez. You can find out a little bit about me. Thank you all for following the show. Shout out to our sponsors. We have Collective Wear. We have My Rod Enterprise. At author Manny Morales, we have Divine Beauty and Accessories. And to all of you tuning in, thank you for your viewing and listening support. Until next time, see you soon.